Hello, 10th graders. This week, what we will be working on is the formatting of your memoir. Your memoir should be at least 5 paragraphs long, and there are certain formatting rules that most of you are aware of, but I want to go over them and reinforce them with you. So, what I have on the screen before you is a memoir. It's titled The First Moments of the Sixties, and it's by a gentleman named Joseph Duffy. And what I'm going to do is we're going to pretend that this is a student and we're going to format it as though he was presenting it to me as part of Basic English 10. So the first thing we always do is we need to click at the very top to get into the header. And when you get into the header, you click twice in the very top of the page. Then you click on page number, top of page 3. Then you put in your last name. In this case, I'm going to put in Duffy. So it's Duffy space 1. Then I highlight it. I change this to Times New Roman 12-point font. Then I come over to File and I do a Save As. You need to make sure you're saving it to the OneDrive. Always make sure you're into the OneDrive. And then don't forget to put in the title, or you can even just put in memoir if you're not sure of your title yet. You can put in memoir and then make sure your last name is associated. In this case, I'm going to put Duffy, since that is the name of the person who wrote this. So that would be the student I'd be looking for. Once it's been saved, then we go back in and we need to do the rest of the formatting. Then you click down in the body. This is the title, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of his title because I need to put it in our terms. You always do left justify. There we go. There we go. Okay, when you get up here, you're up on the left-hand side, and that is where you put your name. This was Joseph Duffy. And then you're going to put in Basic English. No, then you put in my name. Sorry about that. Then you put in Basic English 10, period. Now you might be in period, I think your class is period 5, but you might be 5A or you might be 5B. It's whatever class period you're in. Please make sure which group you belong to. Are you an A student, which is Monday, Tuesday, or are you a B student, which is Thursday, Friday? Then remember, the formatting of the date is different than what you would normally use. These will be due the 5th of October, 2020, and that is how it's supposed to look. At some point, you want to put in the title, the first moments of the 60s. And whenever I have done something that needs to be saved, I click that little square right there. You should save frequently. Anytime you make significant changes, please save. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to come over here to where it says Select. You're going to click Select All. You are going to change this to Times New Roman. Has to be 12-point font, and it has to be double spaced. So you go to this up and down arrow right here, click on it, 2.0. Now that was pretty significant amount of work, so now I save it by just clicking on that like that. I also, in looking at this, I'm going to go to the beginning of each paragraph and I'm going to hit Tab. That's my indent, if it'll let me. It is not allowing me to do that since I did take this off the internet. Let me see if I can get away with doing 5 spaces. 2, 3, 4, 5. So at the beginning of each, so if you can't use tab, and you should be able to, use 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the beginning of each paragraph. Try to make sure they're all lined up. Okay, take a look. Whenever there's a conversation happening, that gets a new line also, but you don't indent. That way you know people are talking. Here's one person speaking, here's somebody else, here's somebody else speaking, here's somebody else. Comes back and forth between that's the conversation that's happening. All right, now here, no one, this is not part of the conversation. This is not part of the conversation. This is not part of the conversation. Okay, so take a look, and if you will notice, we have the page numbers are changing. Here's page 1, page 2, page 3, etc. That's the beauty of doing insert page number. It automatically changes it for you. So you're going to have your title, you have your introduction. He's sort of setting the stage, who he was at the time, where he was, who's in his family, and what a big deal it was when the decade changed from 1959 to 1960. It was the end of the 50s. Here he is telling you a little bit more about that. But then as he got into the 1960s, nothing seemed to have really changed that much until the day that John F. Kennedy was assassinated. He describes that day. It was a warm Friday, late in the fall, 66 degrees and sunny. All right, he wrote about where he was when he heard the news and the conversation that was happening back and forth amongst the kids when they found out that Kennedy had been shot. Then the principal makes the announcement and how he felt about it. We didn't know what to think about this. It was like a physical blow. Then we have how it affected him. Nothing was ever the same from that moment. And at that moment in the world, the leapt the abyss between the decades. It was the last moment of the 50s. So he is saying in 1963, that was the last moment of the decade of the 1950s. That's when everything absolutely changed. So this is a good little memoir. I recommend that you read it. Make sure you format it the way I'm asking you to. Please email me if you have any questions or concerns. That's what I'm here for. I really do appreciate it when you do reach out. And if you aren't at the point of having this to where you can get it on a Word document like this, then you have a lot of work you need to be doing this week. Keep in touch. Thanks for listening.